What is going on, everybody? It is John Shiny MTG here with another deck tech for the Dragon. This deck is a lot of fun. It's really clunky. It's 5 colors. It's lots of dragons. A lot of things in this deck are just kind of dragon flavored. So it's by far not my most optimized deck, but it is a lot of fun. If you aren't familiar with your Dragon's ability, it has Eminence. And basically, when this thing is in the command zone, your dragon spells can cost 1 less to cast. So when you run a lot of dragons in your deck, that actually can be somewhat effective. It's pretty cool. And then also, whenever 1 or more dragons you control attack, draw that many cards, then you may put a permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. That's a pretty good ability. But Dragon has to be in play for that one. So it's a little tougher to make that happen as I've played this deck more and more. But when it happens, it's awesome, of course. So without further ado, let's get to the lands. Get Dragon out of here. We're going to start with the duels, of course. We do have the 10 dual lands. We have a Badlands. We have Bayou. We have Plateau. We have Savannah. Scrubland. Taiga. Tropical Island. Tundra. Underground Sea. And Volcanic Island. Of course, the duels are they're awesome. I think we got ways to search for them and stuff too in the deck. We don't actually have too many fetch lands in here, but we have a couple cards that will help us find the lands. For shocks, we got Blood Crypt, we got Breeding Pool, Overgrown Tomb, Sacred Foundry, Watery Grave, Temple Garden, Stomping Ground, and Steam Vents. So these aren't all matching because I do have some of these other ones are in other decks. And like I said, I don't switch my cards out in between decks. So here we have some Pain lands. We got Underground River, Sulphurous Springs, and Yavimaya Coast. The 2 fetch lands are Wooded Foothills and Flooded Strand. And then we got a couple lands in here that just kind of make any color. Obviously it's good for 5 colors. We have Unclaimed Territory, Path of Ancestry, Haven of the Spirit Dragon, Command Tower, and Reflecting Pool. And City of Brass, of course. There we go. I know, whiteboard, it's City of Brass. We got Grove of the Burnwells in here, because literally there's no other deck I have that card in. And I had one of these sets, and I wanted to make use of the card, so I figured, why not in here? Cascade Bluffs is in here as well. So that's our 1 filter land. We have Volrest Stronghold to try to get dragons back if we need to. Sarah Sanctum, we do run quite a few enchantments in here. Crows and Verge lets you search. Help you find some of these duels or some of these shocks. Reliquary Tower for, basically, I run Greater Good in here, which is probably one of my favorite commander cards. And Greater Gooding dragons is always fun. But you do end up with a lot of cards in your hand, so Reliquary Tower becomes pretty helpful. And Temple of the False God to help with the large casting cost of these guys. So go ahead and move on to the creatures. We have Blade Wing the Risen, pretty cool. Returns a dragon from the graveyard to the battlefield when he comes into play, so that could be helpful. Disciple of Bolas is another good way to draw cards, gain some life as well. Dragonlord Atarka is pretty good removal. Dramoka is pretty good because it can't be countered. Gives you lifelink, and then also, more importantly, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Dragonlord Ojutai. We got Silumgar, which is kind of like a control magic. Dragonlord Servant makes your dragons cost less. And the Shaman does that even better. Hellkite Charger lets you attack multiple times. If you can pay 7, if you do that with like Sword of Feast and Famine, you kind of just win the game. If you have the mana, of course, to do it the first time. Horde Smelter Dragon. This is one that lets you destroy artifacts, which is pretty cool. The Kolagon is the one that lets you, whenever a dragon attacks, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So this one can get out of hand pretty quickly if you have a lot of dragons attacking. Lathlis the Dragon Queen. This is one of the newer ones from M19. Pretty cool ability. Whenever a non-token dragon comes in the field, you get a 5/5 red dragon creature with flying. So, Anything that makes more dragons is good. Moonveil Dragon kind of gives fire breathing to all your dragons. Nicol Bolas, of course, just one of the awesome dragons of our time. You know, just have to squeeze them in here. I do run a sneak attack in here as well. That's kind of one of my strategies, is like sneak attack and like greater greater, like my two. Like if I can get that thing going and then keep being able to put dragons back on top or whatever, that usually ends up pretty fun. Again, this deck isn't necessarily winning, but it's fun. Let's see. Ojutai is the one that, yeah, you tap down stuff when it attacks. Whenever a dragon attacks, which is really strong. Metamorph to just help me copy dragons. Prosh, pretty good, speaks for itself. Ramos, so there's been kind of like, I've kind of been debating switching this to my commander, but I've kind of just kept Dragon for now. Let me know what you guys think of Ramos in the comments. I'm kind of curious, like what the how it plays and how you guys feel about it. Because I have noticed like casting Dragon has been kind of problematic with the 5 colors. And Ramos would obviously be much easier to cast. So let me know what you guys think of this guy. I think he's pretty good. I just haven't switched him. Savage Ventmaw is pretty cool. When he attacks, you get 6 mana in your pool, and it doesn't empty. We got the Scalelord Reckoner. Whenever a dragon you control becomes target of spell or ability, an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So it helps protect your stuff a little bit. People aren't quite as apt to want to get rid of your stuff, especially when you're playing big fat dragons. There's usually something more important on the battlefield. Silumgar, the Drifting Death, is the hexproof flying dragon. This one's actually pretty awesome. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, creatures defending player controls get -1/-1 till end of turn. So yeah, if you're attacking with like 5 or 6 dragons, that usually can just wipe their board. Utvara Hellkites, Lathless Queen is kind of like in the same flavor as this one. This card's awesome. 6/6 flyer for 8. Makes it whenever a dragon attacks, you get a 6/6 red dragon. Pretty awesome. Wood Elves just helps find some. Wood Elves is super random. Like, oh yeah, and then Wood Elves helps you just find some, you know, from some lands, of course. And then Yosei is pretty good at locking people down if you need to. But when it's put in the graveyard, you make people skip their one person skip their untap step, and then you can tap up to 5 things they have too. So that's it for creatures there, guys. We will move on to sorceries here. For sorceries, we have Crux of Fate, of course. So destroy all dragon creatures or destroy all non-dragon creatures. Decree of Pain as well. Help draw cards. This one's probably, you know, if I had, I don't know, there's probably a much better thing to do, another board wipe than this one right now, but this is what I have. So Diabolic Tutor, again, be better if it's Demonic Tutor, but don't have extra ones. Dragon Storm. So this is the Storm Dragon Search card. For 9 mana, you can search your library for a dragon and put it on the battlefield, and it has Storm. So yeah, if you've somehow stacked up some spells before this one, that can get pretty out of hand. Merciless Eviction, really good removal spell. Exiling things as king and commander. Nature's Lawyer helps me find lands, of course. A land, a forest, so I can go get duels. Same thing with Skyshroud Claim. And that's it for sorceries. Now for planeswalkers, we've got Nicol Bolas, of course, for the flavor, and he's an awesome planeswalker. Sarkhan Fireblood, also from M19, but of the dragon flavor as well. Sarkhan Unbroken, Sarkhan Vol, and then Sorin. Just because when I use the +1 to reveal, I'm usually revealing a pretty high casting cost. I can make people lose life quite a bit from just doing that ability. And then I have the ability to knock something out and then gain life as well. So it's pretty strong. And then we're going to move to the enchantments. This is, we got Sarah's Sanctum in here. Forgot how many we have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 enchantments. So we got Crucible of Fire. The awesome dragons get +3/+3. Debtor's Knell helps bring back dragons from the graveyard into play. Dragon Roost lets you put dragon tokens on the battlefield for only 7 mana. Not too bad. It's pretty clunky, but it's fun. I mean, look at this card. It just looks cool. Dragon Roost. I don't know. I like it. Dragon Tempest, this one's really good. Whenever a creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of dragons you control. So yeah, that can get pretty nasty. Frontier Siege, This is another pretty cool one. I like to usually use the Khan's ability just to get the extra mana to get the dragons out quicker. Probably my favorite card in the deck besides Sneak Attack is that Greater Good. Sack Outlet, so you can protect your guys from getting stolen or exiled, plus you get to draw a crap load, plus, yeah, it's just one of my favorite cards of Commander of all time, by far. Like, if they banned this card, I probably would just quit Commander. Growing Rights of Itlamok, pretty cool. It's, you get to look at the top 4, but the awesome thing is when you flip it, it turns into a Gaia's Cradle, essentially. So, yeah, having a Gaia's Cradle is always nice. We've got Kindred Discovery, so you choose dragons, and then whenever a creature you control of the chosen type attacks, you get to draw a card. Lurking Predators, this is a fun card. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you can put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put it on the bottom. So it helps filter as well if you're trying to get gas for like creatures. Mana Reflection speaks for itself, double your mana type of deal. Mirai's Wake, same thing. Sneak Attack. So this card's pretty cool because you could take 1 red and you can take a creature, put it onto the battlefield, and it has haste. So you can use it and then you have to sacrifice it at your end step. But if you have Greater Good out, then you can just sack it to Greater Good and then you get just kind of the best of both worlds. Or the cool thing is you just kind of keep sneak attacking, sacking to Greater Good until you just get, 20, 30 cards in your hand, and then you just sneak attack all those guys out and then just attack and kill somebody. Survival of the Fittest is an awesome enchantment as well. You choose to discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, put it in your hand. Yeah, this card's pretty amazing. Commander, it's really good. Sylvan Library, also another awesome Commander card. So yeah, you get to basically draw 3 a turn if you want to. You just have to pay life to do it. Pretty good card. So those are enchantments. Instance real quick, because there's 2 of them. Momentous Fall. So you can, in addition to casting this, sack a creature. You draw cards equal to that and gain life. So as you can see, I like to draw cards. And Utter End, this helps you exile something that might be really annoying on the battlefield, like Avacyn or something. Alright, then we got Artifacts. Artifact, we got Chromatic Lantern. It's pretty much a must in a 5-color deck. Gilded Lotus. Lotus Bloom. Mana Vault. Nihil's Spellbomb. This is pretty good for those, Marin decks, or for, what's the new one called? Muldrotha. That one's pretty, I guess it's not really new anymore, but yeah. Muldrotha is, it's good to be able to deal with that, or you probably just lose. Skull Clamp, of course, is a good one. This Skull Clamp is honestly probably not as awesome in this deck just because you don't really kill anything with Clamp. You just kind of attach it, and when they die, you get 2 extra. This card probably would be replaced in this deck, to be honest, at some point. As much as I love the Clamp, I would much rather be clamping tokens and stuff, like Bitter Blossom or something along those lines, than just attaching it just onto a creature and then waiting for it to die type of deal. Soul Ring's a must, of course. Swiftfoot Boots helps give haste, protect. Sword of Feast and Famine is, again, yeah, it's the... You attach it to the Hellkite Charger and pretty much can go infinite with attack steps. Sword of Fire and Ice, another good sword, just to give dragons protection from things in case that's needed. And then Thran Dynamo closes it out as it helps me have more mana to cast stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is the Dragon deck. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments. And I look forward to bringing you more in the future. Sorry again, it's been a while. It's been busy. I'm sure you guys know what that's like in your lives, but it's been awesome, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.